Dude,
All
can you
right.
believe I don't know what to call this video?
Should call it like Fairy Tale 2
I'm thinking like wanking
or
Mashima for an hour and a half or something
or
along those
Space
lines.
One Piece.
Glazing Hero Mashima for an hour and a half. Maybe
I
that'll be
don't think I've
best.
gotten a single click.
Maybe not. I
Yeah, we'll
don't.
figure it out. We'll
It's a
figure it
weird
out.
little mishmash that we're just doing for the sake of mashing them together. So this is Fairy Tale Part 2 plus the Eden Zero one because we like both of those things.
Wow,
So
crazy.
I guess we'll just start talking about Eden Zero, Shiki. What did you think about it?
I liked it. We read it from chapter 1 back when we were negative Nazis, and we kept reading it as we liked Mashima more, which is really funny.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
uh, it's solid. I talked with people about how he liked it, and he said he didn't like it as much as Fairy Tale. I think Eden Zero can reach similar peaks, but I think because I like long series with giant fucking casts, I like the longer one with the bigger cast more.
yeah, like that's actually feel like the thing I like least about Eden Zero is like how short it is, because I feel like there was more stuff they could have done. Like
Yeah, they could have. It's not like it's not like Bleach where quite literally content was clearly cut. It's just like, oh, I could have kept going though.
yeah, like, I feel like the two like obvious things is like what's the deal with like aliens and how do they fit in with the larger plot? Because like
Oh,
that's
they
never
just
really touched
exist.
a
It's
whole lot.
space. They
But yeah,
exist
but
because
like
they're space.
it's weird. Yeah, but it's weird because like with the whole thing with like Mother in the end, like and how it results to humans specifically. Well, like how do aliens relate to that?
Yeah,
Do
that
they go
that could be
extinct? Yeah,
fun to explore.
yeah. And then B was like the 20 Knights of the Sakura Cosmos. Like we only met one
Oh,
of them.
that is quite literally if you wanted to do a last arc out of nowhere, you bring those guys back up
Yeah,
again.
just like literally time travel arc. We go back in time. We meet Zenlith when he was young and all of his boys, and do something with them. That'd be fun.
Well, I don't think we could go that far back because Eden Zero is implied to be like far future fairy tale, and the Dark Ages are described as fairy tale times,
Well, I mean,
meaning
like,
Xenolith was alive during fairy tale times, which is
wait, was he
Kino.
really?
Well, they said he was alive during the Dark Ages, so maybe not fairy tale. Back
Oh,
during the
okay.
era. No, it could be way after Natsu and everyone died, but he was alive during the era of magic, not
All
the
right,
era of
dude.
evil.
If
He's old.
in 100 years quest, they better introduce a gravity user named Zenolith, and he should be a cool guy.
He's just weird. Like he comes and bodies one of the Dragon Kings, just cause.
Yo, I'm here for a cameo. Goodbye.
I am Blue Note's master. Sadly, he didn't pick up most of my tricks. That'd be really funny.
All right, so one thing that I think this was in the first afterward Mashman did for Eden Zero about how we said there's not that many space battle shonen, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like weirdly
True.
true when you look at it because like the only one that immediately comes to my head is Dragon Ball, and even that comes with some caveats. Like
That's like mainly. It's mainly just the Frieza arc.
yeah, I mean like if you go to like GT or Super, like the
Oh,
spin-offs and
GT
sequels.
has a lot more space.
Yeah, GT has a lot of space, so like if you go to the spin-offs and sequels, there's more of that, but like still Dragon Ball is like the only one, and like Dragon Ball ended like the original series at least ended a long while ago, and
Yeah.
like every other like space like shonen thing I could think of is not like a battle shonen, like Space Captain Harlock and like all the things related to Space Captain Harlock and like the whole like
Yeah.
space pirate subgenre. Like they don't usually like end up going into transformations and fist fighting each other. It's more so just whoever points their gun first just wins the encounter. Like that's how those
Yeah.
series go.
It kind of reminds me of how Mashima said when he was making Fairy Tale, they just wanted to make a Magic Guild series, but because he and his crew were like had such a heavy punk aesthetic, it got labeled a punk series. Mashima, and like I think one of the first three afterwards of his volumes with Eden Zero, said, "Yeah, so I wanted to make space fantasy, but I think it was really one of the best things he ever said. He's literally like, I'm not gonna do all the crazy physics shit. Don't go telling me that's not how that works. It's a space fantasy. I'm a fantasy
Yeah,
author, okay?
it's
I make
not
fantasy, but in
it's
space.
not Star Trek, it's Star Wars.
Star Wars would try to no. Oh, okay, how does it work? Is 90% of people in Star Wars are just idiots with guns?
But if you ignore those idiots, then it's cool guys with swords and psychic
Yeah.
powers.
And then the other thing with Eden Zero is that one of the cool things he brought up during the first big space battle, I think the one with Eraser, he said, I figured out why this demographic or this genre, this genre isn't popular. Do you know how hard it is to draw spaceship battles?
Yeah, yeah, like
And
even
then what I thought of that, I thought not only is that an interesting tidbit, also that kind of answers the whole why do we never get naval battles in One Piece? Imagine having to draw the sea a million fucking times along with the ships a million fucking times. I go insane.
yeah, and like especially it gets even harder in like a battle shown setting where like some characters like could like conceivably anyone who could like Luffy would be able to move like 100 times faster than the Sunny and fly around or whatever and stuff like that. So like when you have characters like that in there, like that makes it even weirder. Like Eden Zero kind of does a good job of that, where you have like a racer who's like a god in like a space naval
And then,
setting.
but then you have the great balancer of there's like three people who can breathe in space.
Yeah, but like then they also introduce like later like overdrives can help you do that, and they can get more mileage
Well,
out
they
of the space
can, but only a
battles.
couple characters outright tried it because it's really hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Overdrive is cool because it's basically like, there's a million really cool ways you could use this, but most people are not good enough to do half those things.
Yeah, or crazy enough to try.
Yeah, like literally, like Rebecca and Shiki after the last time skip to Universe Zero, both tried overdriving, but Rebecca fucking fell on her face. And Shiki's like, "Oh, I need to alter my physical form. I gotcha."
Yeah.
Which actually makes sense because Shiki's whole thing is that he primarily uses gravity on himself, so he's used to altering his body.
Yeah. And another thing that's cool about Eden Zero is that like it might be like the most possibly like the most like tightly written, well planned out like long running battle
There's
shonen.
good foreshadowing.
Yeah, but like the things it has like two unfair advantages going for it.
It does.
This is Mashima's third time trying a long running series, so like
A long-running weekly series. This is his third fucking one.
yeah,
Not to mention
most
all the
people
other
yeah.
shit he's done.
Yeah, most people don't even get past the first one. Like, if you imagine like Oda was had to like redraw One Piece from chapter one, you can imagine he'd probably do it very differently if he knew how long it was really gonna be. Uh,
Yeah,
and then two is that like it's not that long, and like it's not even 300
it's
chapters.
roughly 300 chapters.
Yeah,
And then no, but also it's cool because he did literally say after he did the I go yeah, but I guess we should probably put this beginning. We're gonna spoil the ever loving shit out of this series.
don't
And this
worry,
series
I'll have like a
has
big
so many really cool twists and turns that you don't want to get spoiled on it.
yeah. I mean, some of them like you can like see coming a mile away because like time
Yeah,
travel plot.
some are
Yeah,
obvious.
like
But some,
Ziggy being Shiki is like one, I'd say.
well, that one you don't figure it out immediately. You kind of piece it together a little bit,
Yeah.
but then some actually shock me. Like I remember Puff when we were first reading for the first, I don't know, like 100 or so chapters. We're like, Shiki is obviously the child born from mother. This is the most obvious thing on the planet. And then they're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, he is just not.
Yep, we
Which was
thought
cool.
Mother was his mother, but it turns out Mother was his mother and everyone else's mother at the same time.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
because he brought up in one of the last volumes that when he did the super big twist of I think it was who Ziggy was, and among some other twists like the Shining Stars, he already said, he's like, remember how I said I had some things set in stone and some things loose? This is what I had set in stone.
yeah, no, it's very nice that like he kind of like at almost like every volume and afterwards he will like bring up like what was planned or what was the last minute addition. Like I remember
He's so transparent. I love him so much.
yeah, I know. It's weird. If you're like actually like interested in like how authors plan their works and like let's say hypothetically or someone wants to make a video about it, don't make author fan fiction. I've seen too much stupid author fan fiction. Just like make
Yeah.
a case study of Mashima or like some other author who's like very
Or
transparent about it.
like a Rocky released a book about making manga. Uh Togashi has talked about the process of making manga a lot. And Mashima, in like every other volume afterward, talks about some random process of manga making. I remember one afterward, he's like, I don't have anything to say, so here's the history of my art evolution and when I stopped being stubborn and started using computers. He's great.
All right, so I have a small list of some of my favorite bits of foreshadowing.
Nice.
There's old Weiss's arm because like if you remember, like he had
Oh,
like a robot
dude,
arm.
I literally, when I saw that, I went back and I grabbed volume 2, and I'm like, there's no fucking way. And I'm like, oh my god, it's there.
Yeah, so like it was like implying that like Weiss at some point would like lose his arm, but like he makes it clear like no, because of the way chronophages work, we're just like two different people now. So like you might have a different future, and like we see like one future where he loses the arm and another where he keeps it. That's pretty cool. Uh,
Yeah.
and then nobody recognizes the shining stars like at all. Like every time they go somewhere Ziggy was, and it's
Everyone
like
knows who Ziggy is. No one has heard of these
yeah, it's like
fuckers.
oh, I remember when Ziggy was here. He was a cool guy. And it's like, oh, do you recognize us? And it's like, no. Who are you people?
No,
And
the
it's
only
like,
person who knows them is Elsie.
yeah, Elsie, because like Elsie was there for like the tail end of the journey, right? Because
Yeah,
like she's still very
like
young.
he literally brought them in to go train with the stars.
Yeah. All right, and then there's
She also kind of like retroactively explains why the stars are so like kind of bad at fighting at first. They
yeah,
have
like
tons and tons of power and are programmed with battle experience, but they've never actually fought anyone.
yeah, so like when someone like gets on board the Eden Zero, it's like, oh, we beat them, it's cool, but then like it turns out they lay their guard down for like half a minute, and suddenly everything goes to shit.
Because they just don't know what they're doing because yeah, they haven't actually fought before. They just think they have.
Yeah, and then next is this is one that like may have like only been like a coincidence, like but like it's how Ziggy's redesign after he turns evil involves like his chest becoming like the Eden's one, like the big like shark
Yeah.
mouth thing. So like that could like be like whether it was planned or not, it's like really cool that like oh we learn later that the ship is literally like taking him over, like
Evil.
it's the ship
Yeah.
that's like mind controlling
Yeah.
Ziggy. So
Oh,
like
and then
yeah.
no, you can keep going.
And then Mother like being the planet Earth was really cool. Like
Oh, that
it,
was super foreshadowed.
yeah, like it was like foreshadowed so heavily that it literally couldn't have been anything else. Like first
Like
is the
chapter
colors.
2, her color scheme is just the Earth, but you're like, oh, that's just like because she's the size of a planet. That's clever. But
Yeah.
then every single relic is just some bozo scrap, or like I think the big one is the skyscraper. It's
Yeah,
just a
I'd say
skyscraper.
the skyscraper and the Coca-Cola bottle cap.
Yeah, those are the two that's like, well, wait a fuck.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And then also just like really long, not for it's like the One Piece foreshadowing with just really long term payoffs. The setup of the stars' weird past with the male stars was, I think, like almost like over 100 chapters before that was fully paid off.
Yeah.
When the manga's 300 chapters long, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a third of the
It's
whole
most
story.
yeah. I think my two favorite Ziggy foreshadowing. The first one was Xenolith when he said, "When Ziggy came to train with me, he learned every technique in a day." Which because Ziggy didn't actually need to learn them, he needed to just literally gain the ability to do them.
Yeah.
Because Ether Gear needs to be passed on.
Oh,
And
that's
then
another thing I actually wanted to. I was hoping like we could learn more on it. Why I wish the story was longer. I want to know like how does an ether gear get made in the first place? I
oh,
thought
that'd
that
be
might be
fun to
interesting. Yeah.
because Ether Gear is a deep part of the themes because Ether Gear makes humans more like robots.
Yeah.
And makes robots more like humans because
And in
it's like a
general, yeah.
cool. You're using soul powers to make your body function like a machine. It's really cool. The
Yeah,
fact
and in
that
gen
machines can do it proves they have souls, and humans by doing it function more like machines. It's so fucking cool.
yeah, you even have overdrive, which like says like you reconstruct yourself on a molecular level. At that point, like anyone who overdrives can't is technically not even human anymore.
Yeah, and all overdrives kind of transform you. That's cool that Mother is a planet that turned into a person because all overdrives, at least yeah, basically every really good overdrive transforms your body into something else. Shiki starts turning into a demon. Rebecca turns into a cat. Homura turns into a fucking kitsune.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to believe the reason Weiss doesn't is because he's probably the worst at overdrive out of the four. I completely believe that. That fucker's relying on guns.
Yep.
uh, so that's no. My other favorite Ziggy one is at this point you've probably figured it out, but this is like sets it in stone. When Ziggy fights Nero and they talk, you're like, oh my god, he's just Shiki.
Yeah.
Listen to him open his mouth and talk. it's and then we were no, that wasn't technically Ziggy, that was fucking Shiki's kid. But even then, that still makes sense. Still
Yeah.
raised by Ziggy, who is kind of Shiki, so it still makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
So
all
what
very
else?
good and cool.
Yeah. One thing that I kind of liked about like the end of the story like I'm not sure if this was a product of it being like, kind of like rushed because like the story was pretty short, but like I like how some things aren't like, outright like explained to you, like, oh, why does Zone have both time powers and gravity powers? Well, like there's the obvious answer. They're like, oh, through inferring it, he's literally Shiki and Rebecca's like kid. So like
Because we
he
know
and him,
for a fact that Rebecca's is genetic. It runs in
yeah.
her family because her mom and the mom, they all have it.
Yeah, but like
And then with
even
the
then, but like
gravity
even
shit, he was raised by like he's literally the ship that Ziggy made, so it's not surprising. But they
yeah.
don't tell us that. You just infer it because it makes sense.
Yeah, but like even if like, but how does he have the biological like powers of Rebecca if like he didn't have the body? He was like just the soul that went to the ship. It's
That's
like,
the
well,
themes,
the
which is
ship
cool.
the ship literally has time travel. Can literally time travel, and it learned how to do it based off of Rebecca's powers in the
Yeah, it's
future.
so cool.
So like, still it rolls into it, and it's like that's pretty cool. That's how it can construct a machine that can do that. That's cool.
No, it's all pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah.
And then with the
Oh,
themes,
oh,
I like.
another one. This is the best one. So Moscow is the best character, right?
Oh, his is the most long term
I
payoff in the
love him
fucking series.
so much. I like the first time you see him.
Okay,
I thought you see
basically,
the button
I
that
don't
says
know if his name
"Don't
is
push."
pronounced Moss. Oh, do you know what I don't know?
What?
Is his name pronounced Moscow or Moskoy?
Could be either.
I'm gonna watch the anime real quick. Watching a random clip.
All right. Moscow. So I love how like as soon as you meet him, it just says the button that says "Don't press," and then
It's Moskoy. All right, it's Moskoy.
Muscoy. So like he has the button that says "Don't press," and sometimes he'll try and press it, but then Sister will always stop like "Don't do it, stop." And then when other people
Like
try
I
to,
remember at first, like, oh, is it like a self destruct button? That'd be funny. But
yeah,
then
like she's just trying to keep him from blowing
Hermit,
himself up.
Hermit, who knows Sister, when Sister threatens Hermit, Hermit threatens to push the button, which freaks only Sister out, which doesn't give a shit. Which is really telling that this is a power that only negatively affects Sister.
Yeah, I know, and it turns out she's literally threatening, "I'm going to show everyone your search history if I press this button."
It's so fucking funny. It's
And it's
so
like,
funny.
no, I don't want people knowing my kink is old butler men who BDSM me.
It's so funny. She's like, I have the kink I'm okay showing, which is that I love torturing women. I do not like showing the kink where I like getting tortured by old men.
It's so cool.
Great.
I
It's
love
super funny.
Moscow so much. He's so funny. I love
Oh,
that. Like
he's
as soon as you see him, he flies by throwing sumo strikes, and no one
oh
can
yeah,
make
he does
sense of
so
it.
many palm strikes, and I do love that once they get back on the Edens and they're like, "Oh, we fixed him up with Eden's tech," and it's like, "Oh, can he fight now?" And I think it's Laguna's in a pod or Weiss, and they look to their right and they see Moscow flying by and then palming his way through ships. And they're like, "Oh, okay, he can't. Good to know."
I just
He's
love him so much. He's my favorite. I
oh,
love
it's
him.
so, no, I love him because he's like a gag character that's very design ensures you are eventually going to get a strong man payoff.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
I know, it was
With the
so good.
themes of
And
Eden
I
Zero,
loved how Happy reacts to the transformation. He's just like terrified as the longer it goes on.
Happy fucking hates it. It's phenomenal. Now, what I was gonna say with
He is so
themes is
uncomfortable.
I like how even though like the main core of Eden Zero is everyone um has a heart and can be friends and connect their hearts. A big part of that is androids, but it doesn't do the fucking Pinocchio story that you like I don't know, fucking Ruby, fucking Persona 3, so many things do. Literally,
You
chapter
gotta
1 is
be a
like
real
no.
boy.
Chapter 1 is like, no, you fucking idiots. Machines have hearts. We have established this. There is no argument. If you disagree, you're an asshole who likes killing people.
Yeah.
I love how they're just like, no, this is not some moral conundrum. That's how this universe works. Shut
Yeah.
up.
We're not going by Pinocchio rules, we're going by Kingdom Hearts rules, where if you can think and talk, you have a heart.
Pretty much.
100%.
Pretty much. You just naturally develop a soul.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And I love this is actually what I'm making a video about, which I think will be up by the time this one
The
is.
the
Just
gravity theming.
yes, and how like flexible like gravity is used symbolically, like how it's both like freedom and oppression and destruction and like tethering societies and crews and people
And
together.
also just like friendship, but also like distancing yourself, control. It's so good. It's so many things.
Yeah,
And the thing is, like,
we're trying to.
remember,
I don't want to dwell too long because I am making a video and like there's
yeah,
more to
okay.
talk about in this
No, I would
video.
just say like the first time I really liked it was the end of the Drake and Joe fight. That was the first time I really liked the
Yeah,
gravity
yeah, when
symbolism.
the
And then obviously
memories.
it peaked with Shiki and Shura's first fight,
I
which is one
know.
of my favorite first encounters between two characters in like any series ever. Those two are
It's so
fucking made
good.
to interact.
Yeah, I
Those
know. It
two
was
have
so
some of the
cool.
best dynamics out of any fucking character.
I know. It's a real highlight in the manga. It's so cool. It's what my literally half the video is going to be about
And
is
when they
that their intro
unite and
scene.
their positions are reversed, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They're even reversed in the sense that Ashura comes down and is like, "Who's this gravity asshole? Is he trying to stop me from beating up the evil Rashion Seis? What an idiot!" And then Shiki's like, "Who's this prick beating me up while beating me up for not wanting to kill my mentor? What an asshole!" It's so good. It's such a great flip.
Yeah. One thing that I do like, you know how like a bunch of people are like, "Ah, too many characters." Well, I mean, this might be one where they still say that, but I do love how like we get like a color spread like 100 chapters in or less,
Of like
and it's
the
like that's like
100
80% 80% of the important characters have already been introduced. Like they're all here on this color spread now.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Which it's 300 chapters, 100 characters. I'm a big fan. I guess we could talk about the character redesign or like I guess copy design.
No, before we get to that, I want to talk about Universe Zero because this is one thing that I'm kind of like the stuff I like about it, stuff I don't like about it.
I think it's pretty fun.
I think it's very fun. Like, you know, Muller's a big bad villain now, and that's badass. I love him. But
I love how at first it seems like, oh wait, everything is better. Draken isn't evil, so Wise's mom is alive. This planet has max Ethereon, so Shiki's friends don't power out for a while. It's so good. We're like, wait, is this? And then at first you're like, wait, they still have their limbs. Muller's a good guy in this universe? Question mark. And then it's like, no, this is the bad part of this universe. Muller's even more evil.
if such a thing
He
was
didn't
even
just blow up
possible.
a robot planet. He used gravity powers to crush a planet out of existence, and is gonna keep doing it.
It's just that, like it is cool, like how like some of the like when Shiki says like he'll be Drake and Joe's friend, that comes back in a cool, neat way. However,
Like, sure.
however,
to become friends with people he wasn't able to, which I think is fun.
yeah, you know, like the thing is, I like the twist at the end where it turns out Mother like basically made this universe for Shiki, and he has to decide whether he wants to live in this or like forsake
it's the
it for the sake of
perfect
the
universe.
yeah. Like so, I like that twist a lot. However, I just feel like a lot of what was interesting about like the setting just like is lost in Universe Zero because of like Shura's a good guy now. Now there's no evil empire. Draken's a good guy
Kind of
now.
point
Now
is
like
because
there's
like
no
we've already covered those plot
yeah,
dynamics.
that's the thing. Like we've already it's not a big deal because we've already like went through those arcs and those
Yeah,
dynamics
like
and
we
stuff.
we don't need to see Drake and Joe's evil peddling scheme. We don't need to see Shura's evil empire because we already saw and killed those things.
Yeah, it's just that like the setting itself, like in Universe Zero, is just kind of like less interesting until like the
Yeah.
very end, until when we start
Although
dealing
I
with
think
Zone.
that's intentional because we are just supposed to speed run those settings.
Yeah, I
while
know.
we
So
get
like,
to the actual important
granted,
things.
like there is obviously like like it's for the sake of the twist, which is really cool, and like like it's just that like
And just like the pacing is better because like we're not going to sit here and dwell on a slightly altered version of the Drake and Joe arc for almost as long as the last Drake and Joe arc. We
yeah, I
are in
know.
and out.
It's just that I think I would have like I feel like Shura specifically is what I want because like I think I would prefer getting old Shura back and having him have more cool development.
Oh,
and
just
stuff.
like, or I think like him being okay. So like, literally the fact that the girl who he abused into falling in love with him now being like the girl who whipped him is super funny. Like that's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
But also, it does
I do
lead
laugh.
to like less interesting things happen.
I know. But let's
So
say
it's
hypothetically
also it's not as cool.
I know. Let's say hypothetically, old Shura and like old what's her name came back, and their relationship somehow developed into that. I think that'd be the coolest and funniest thing ever. But the fact
like she like talks to his sister for a little bit too long.
yeah. So Eden Zero, pretty cool. If you don't mind what we spoiled you on, you haven't seen it, go read it. It's nice.
Yeah, it's good. I'm a big fan of Eden Zero.
Yeah.
Also,
Uh,
Eden Zero was so fun to read weekly, by the way. The chapter where Shiki fucking dies, holy shit.
oh yeah, I remember. Like we were thinking, like, oh, he's gonna come back as like a cyborg or a robot.
And
And
then
it'll
I
be
remember the
cool.
next chapter happened, and it literally led with Zhao Mei saying, "This is a world and a universe without Shiki. He's not here." And then we have like literally like I think a chapter and a half of Rebecca just being like, "All my friends are dead," and it's like, what the fuck are we doing? It was phenomenal. It was so fun to read weekly.
Yeah, I feel like this was a one thing. This is kind of like part of the Universe Year stuff where the story like becomes like infinitely more lighthearted as it goes on because of
Yeah.
the Universe Year specifically.
Well,
Like
Universe Zero, and because Shiki just becomes way fucking stronger.
yeah, he does become stronger. Yeah,
Oh, one thing that is kind of similar to the lightheartedness is Eden Zero has a very similar power growth structure to Fairy Tail, and I like them both. Our main cast is always rapidly evolving, but outside of the final villains who are monsters, most of our main opponents are all approximate in strength, and it's never we have to fight this guy who's way stronger. It's instead we have to fight this guy way more efficiently than last time. Last time that was some bullshit. We got to do better this time.
yeah. I mean, like early on, if you ignore like opponents like Aragorn and some of the smaller antagonists, like as soon as you get to like
Irrational says.
Erasio and Sace, yeah, like
Or
that's
it's
the
even Loxus, I guess, because he could
Well, I
body
mean,
the
like
rest of
it's weird with
Saiyans.
yeah, it's weird there because like Loxus and what's his name, the guy Phantom Lord's master, like it seems like they do
Master
a
Jose.
yeah, Jose would probably do a pretty good job against the Horatio and Stace, like
And Loxus could definitely beat, I want to say all, but at the very least, most of them.
yeah, I know he would just steamroll half of them at the very least.
Racer's absolute shock when Loxus just catches it.
Yeah,
So yeah, and Eden Zero does a similar thing where we are fighting the Horatio and Sace Galactica. Which, yeah, it's similar. We fight Drake and Joe, and then literally Laguna shows up and says, "You won on 5 technicality. Fuck you."
yeah,
and then Shiki doesn't fight Shura. Shiki doesn't fight Nero,
Nero.
who is the actual Rashomon Stace. He fights his proxy. He fights Shura,
Yeah, he
and then
fights
he fights
Big
Ziggy,
Son. Yeah.
and he it doesn't go that well for him.
Yeah, he only gets a win because Pino gives it to him,
Yeah,
basically.
and Justice basically is there to explain like the actual power gap before we go to fight Nero. Where Justice is like, here's what would actually happen if you fought a top tier right now, and then just beats the shit out of
Oh,
him.
I do like the power balance between the Erasio and Sace Galactica and Interstellar because it's very clear that the Interstellar are a
Are
lot
weaker.
weaker overall.
They work together.
Yeah, no, literally they group together so they can fight these 7 very strong individuals who will sometimes team up
we'll,
but are
we'll
mostly
say
doing their own
it's
thing.
usually 6.
Like we're told that Jaguar was the strongest one amongst them, and like he kind of went out like a chump against
Oh
Nero
no,
and Ziggy.
Jaguar in his defense did
Yeah, I know.
kill
In his defense, he steamrolled 3 mooks before like Ziggy
3
and
mooks
Nero
who we
teamed up on
later
him.
learned were actually quite strong.
Yeah, yeah. It's 3 really strong mooks, and then Nero and Ziggy like tag team him and kill him.
Quite literally, Ziggy just holds him in place, and he's like, "Oh, I'm being held down by gravity." Then he gets 3 giant holes in his skull, and Nero's like, "That was the plan, right?"
Yeah, that was one of
that,
the
that,
that was a very exciting thing to read weekly too. Was like holy shit,
because it's like, oh, shit, we got the 3
yeah, I know
tiers.
it's those things where like when villains fight each other, it can be very unpredictable in how it goes, and like it's like holy shit, there's 3 of them here. What's gonna happen? Oh my god.
Literally, he just gets owned, and it's actually crazy.
I know it was great.
Yeah, I do think that is really cool because yeah, quite literally, because like whenever they fight one Horatio Sace besides Elsie, because Justice is stubborn and horny, they always bring in at least 2 Interstellar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big. A lot of cool stuff with Eden Zero. Also, the art is so good. Mashima is so good at drawing, and
Yep.
also the horny art is so good. Oh my goodness!
Dude,
Not gonna
Homer
get into
is
that too
pretty.
much, but
Yes,
oh my god!
Homer is
I
great.
think also Mashima before I would say before he was like balanced between what he liked drawing. This is such an ass forward manga. Jesus fucking Christ!
No, it is.
There's so much. It's crazy. So yeah, Mashima's good at fan service, which is good. If you're gonna make a fan service manga, I want it to be good fan service.
Yeah.
I don't want this to be Ichigo 100% or everyone's ugly as shit.
Or Rent a Girlfriend, where they're only like
Or he can only draw an ass like once every 10
yeah,
volumes.
once in a blue moon he can draw a decent-ish ass.
And usually he just doesn't know what he's doing. Which is very funny. Alright, is that it for why we think Eden Zero is pretty cool?
Yes, that is it, and we are going to get to some cool fairy tale takes. Now, did you know that the Mashima's art style completely ripped off Oda's with One Piece?
That's so fun. The thing is, like,
Of
you
course
could
it
definitely
did.
say Mashima was inspired by One Piece, which is probably fair. But also, the problem with that is early Fairy Tale, people point out it looks like One Piece, and it kind of does. But also, early Fairy Tale is just late Rave Master. That's how that works.
Yeah, and also
Early
like
Fire
early
Force is
fairy
late Soul
tale.
Eater. Early Soul Eater is late Beachy. It's that.
Yeah, early fairy tale also looks nothing like late fairy tale or Eden Zero.
Oh my god, they don't look the same at
So like
all. That's my
clearly
point.
if he was ripping off One Piece at some point, that's clearly changed along the way.
I
And
thought this is
two,
completely unrelated. I meant to look up Brave Master, and I accidentally looked up Raven Master. Look at this fucking man.
wow.
Okay, that guy's
Holy
cool.
shit,
Anyway,
wow.
anyway.
Holy fuck. That's
No,
a
but
man.
yeah. Anyway, early Fairy Tale looks like late Rave Master because that's how art evolution works. And here's the thing: while you could say Mashima's style was probably inspired by Oda, one thing people forget is Mashima's been making manga as long as Oda has.
Yeah.
When did One Piece start? 97.
Yeah.
Rave Master started in 90.
Yeah, remember, this is his third long running series. Like it didn't start with Fairy Tail, it started with Rave Master.
Not to mention all the other like short things. Like literally when he made Fairy Tail, one of his first afterwards, he's like, "Oh, I actually way back in the day did like a one shot about a mage, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to do this."
Yeah. And
So
also,
basically, I can say I think it's pretty obvious Mashima likes One Piece. For one, Eden Zero is a lot like One Piece, and that's a good thing.
no, the thing is like yeah, if you call it Space One Piece, that makes sense. But also, I feel like everything it has in common with One Piece, it's just synonymous with the space pirate genre. Like you could find all these things in Space
Yeah,
Captain Harlock,
yeah,
pretty
because it's a
much.
pirate series. But
Yeah.
like when people point out the whole Fairy Tale hand sign thing at the end of Loxus's arc. Is that very similar to the Alabasta goodbye? Yes. And both those scenes make me cry, so clearly he knew what he was doing.
uh, a thing about the art style is just like you can look at how like Oda likes to draw dragons and compare them to Mashima and see that they're
Oh,
like
that is
nothing
one of the
alike at
most
all.
glaring differences.
I know, because like Odas are like very cartoony. They look a lot more like animals, and whereas like the Mashimas are a lot more like anthropomorphized, where like they got like biceps and like
They're made to
arms.
fight.
Yeah, to like punch the shit out of each other.
I remember Majima literally had a thing where he said like he categorizes the way he draws characters into cute and cool. And he said his problem with drawing men is he knows ladies thinks cool men are hot, but he thinks he's best at drawing cute men. He's like
Hmm.
Shiki and Natsu are cute little guy.
Yeah, and
He
also
literally
like
said like I'm not good at drawing cool guys, which is really funny.
yeah, I also remember like like that old image of like people comparing like fairy tale designs to One Piece, and it would just be like Racer looks like
We
Frankie
ranted about that a
because
little
like
bit.
they have a distinct nose and a mohawk, and it's just like what the fuck you talking about?
Oh yeah,
Perona
they
and
compared
Juvia are
Racer to
light because like
Frankie.
they both have gothic Lolita and an umbrella. Like what are you talking about? That's
Yeah,
like
we talked
Oda
about
didn't
that a
invent
bit
umbrellas and
before.
gothic Lolita. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that before. And even then, Perona embraces Goth Lolita a lot more than Juvia does.
Yeah, Juvia looks like an old Russian doll when she's introduced.
Yeah, but that's kind of the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I think that we talked about this before. If you think Guildarts is a ripoff of Shanks, first of all, the only scene where Guildarts looks like actually came out, I think, around the time. I don't want to say that. My timing's probably wrong. I want to say it might be close. to when Shanks had his post-time skip cool guy Marineford design, but I don't remember if that's true, so I'm not going to say that with confidence. What I will say with confidence is early guild arts looks like King from Rave Master.
Yeah, at least in the manga, like in the I know because like it's always the
Oh,
picture of the anime
I
people
don't know
use.
what A1 Pictures was doing.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the one that's a little more interesting because like it's actually something that like is like actually substantive. It's that Mashima will reuse character designs and people have mixed feelings about that.
I think early on in Eden Zero, it was very jarring, but then you kind of adapt.
Yeah. I mean,
I
like
would
I
also
can.
say generally, like once you get used to it, it is very easy to tell. Like Shocker, even though Elsie Crimson is just Urza Scarlet too. Also, by the way, he said the reason it's Elsie is because it's supposed to be L like but and then he made it C because she's a pirate. I love
Yar.
Mashima. He's so funny. But once you read it enough, you can tell. One of the main differences is actually the fact that Elsie keeps the exact same haircut for the whole fucking manga. Which helps a lot. I would say the ones where, even though I can tell Rebecca from Lucy, there are certain shots where, like, if you took a screenshot of it and got rid of the background and made me guess, I might guess wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not a big a deal. Like, one thing I always think of is that scene at the end of Fishman Island where Nami's in the bath. She looks so much like Vivi there, it hurts my brain.
Yeah, and I want to bring up a couple things the oldest example I could find of like a mangaka reusing character designs like over and over again is actually Tezuka, who's like
Yeah,
the like
the
grandfather
guy
of
who
our
made
manga. Yeah, and like part of the reason he did it was because like he had like this like kind of similar to Mashra, they both had like this insane output, so like they found designs that they liked that they were good at drawing, and then like just sort of like reuse them. I remember like with Tezuka, like he kind of it was almost like the Looney Tunes or something, where like it was almost like these characters were actors in different roles almost
Oh, that's
sometimes because like
awesome.
sometimes there would be like tongue-in-cheek like references like that in his works and stuff, so like
Well, I mean, I think the closest we have to that with Eden Zero is Happy. Just like, oh look, it's Happy.
yeah, but like even then, like I feel like this comes into like one of Mashima's most like blatant influences is actually Final Fantasy, because like in Final Fantasy, like like they'll like reuse terms like the crystals,
I like how,
holy,
regardless of
meteor.
how confusing and different Final Fantasy is, the one thing that's always the same is what are
There's
the
always a
stupid
Sid. There's always a
no what are
Sid.
the stupid what are the things that gives you what are the things you equip to use magic in Final Fantasy called?
I don't know, crystals.
Fuck,
There's
no,
always
it isn't.
crystals. There's always crystals. I know that.
There's some Final Fantasy gonna make you guys are so fucking stupid. Whatever it's called, it's the same in every single version. And I remember 'cause I was playing literally like Final Fantasy 2, and I was equipping, and I was like, oh wait, this is Final Fantasy 7. What the fuck?
Yeah, I remember even like Kingdom Hearts uses the same like spell names as Final Fantasy does, like Blizzaga, Blizzara, and yeah, stuff like that.
Materia! It's called Materia!
Materia, cool. Okay.
Alright.
Then this is another thing. Just like I remember this was an example in a video game, so it's a little different. But like Toby Fox like reused his whole cast for his other game Deltarune, which he's very upfront that it's like not a sequel to Undertale at
Hell
all,
yeah.
even though the same characters are present. And like A, it's because he's reusing assets, and B, like I think it's because like if he wants like a Sans type character, why would he make a knockoff Sans and not just reuse
You know
Sans
what?
when he
And
can?
Puff, I
So I feel
don't
like
mean this
that's
as an
going.
ins Puff, I don't mean this as an insult at all, because I like these series. I'm gonna give another example of something else I like, but it's kind of similar to like alternate universe fan fiction.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Where like you
No, it
use
definitely
the
is.
character designs and maybe a couple like familiar traits as like a jump off point, and then you do your own shit.
Yeah. So like
No, the
I'm
third
just thinking
example
like
I was going to was the Edgar Wright trilogy, where he has the same two actors in those the buddy cop, the horror, and the time travel movie.
yeah.
Yeah, that. Those are the same guys. It's the same actors.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking like if he wanted to like much want to remake another romance between like two people who kind of love hate each other, and like he like wanted to make it Urza and Jalal again but like different and stuff, then it's like yeah, why the hell not? I mean, I like it is like weird when you first see it, but like it's very easy to get over, I think.
But it's jarring. I would
Yeah.
say by the end of
I
Eden
guess
Zero,
I think
the only
ideally they would have different designs, but like
but I don't
it's not
mind.
the worst
I
thing.
I
Yeah.
think it also adds like metatextual fun to the series.
That is true. Like yeah.
Like it's fun on a metatextual level to see another Urza and Jalal engaging in a similar but radically different story.
Dude, when they have
It's
that
kind of
scene
like
where they
it's kind of
kissed,
like
when
Romeo
they
and Juliet versus
imagine the
Nomeo.
sex.
No, no,
Imagine the
Puff.
sex.
No, Puff. It's like Romeo and Juliet versus Nomeo and Juliet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or like
They
Happy,
ain't the
but
same,
now
but they're
Happy or
kind of the
Happy
same.
is now Happy is a pair of guns and that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Like it's fun. It's
yeah.
I think
You
it's
know
fun.
what I
I
don't
was
think is fun though?
what?
Okay, so this is my least favorite example of a mangaka reusing character designs, but it's for stupid reasons that I feel like don't actually matter, but it made me upset for a bit and then I got
All
over
right.
it.
Let's
So
see if I know what. Let's see if I understand your
as you
at
all
all.
know, One Punch Man's is based off of what like the one
Oh,
Murata draws.
Punch Man?
The
Okay, thank you for
one the
clarifying. I
one
thought we were talking
Murata
about Machima.
the one Murata draws is a redraw of the webcomic, right? And in the webcomic, you know, Tatsumaki and
Oh my god,
Fubuki.
don't complain that Tatsumaki's hot in the
No, no,
manga.
that's not all there is to it, Cheeky. Okay, so like in the original, it's clear that like, you know, they keep making jokes like, oh, Tatsumaki looks like a little kid, what a little kid, and all that, and like Fubuki, like, you know, is just sort of like this grown adult lady, and then like, you know, in Murata's version, he just made Fubuki the, I'm forgetting her name, but she's the main love interest from My Shield 21. They have the exact same like face and hairstyle and everything. It's
From
like this is
what?
just her.
Oh yeah, you're right. She
Yeah,
does look a lot like Momori.
yeah, and
No,
the
the
other.
joke I made, no, Puff, the joke I made is I Shield 21 is drawn by Murata, who draws One Punch, and written by the guy who does Dr. Stone. And I Shield 21 has very little fan service, and then they branched off to do One Punch Man and Dr. Stone.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So, again, like, and then there's this other cheerleader girl who's like always got like the devil tail, I think, and the wings. Like she just looks like Tatsumaki, like sometimes, like she just looks like Tatsumaki. Yeah,
I think that one is less similar. I think that one more so just has to do with the fact that he's drawing another short girl.
yeah, but it's just like they
Because
got like
faces aren't very similar, their hair isn't very similar. They're kind of similar early on, back when he's not drawing
yeah,
Tatsumaki
yeah,
like he's the
that's
horniest man on the planet.
yeah.
If anything, once he starts drawing her like a horny freak, she looks less like, what's her name? Fucking Suzuka or something?
Yeah, but just like the reason why I got mad is just because I realized like, wait a second,
Suzuna.
he's adapting a character who's clearly supposed to look like a child as like a sexy lady, because he's like mixing it with like this old design of one of his old fan service characters, and it's like, wait, so now he's being
No,
kind
but what was
of
funny
is he
Suzuna
is
was
he
not
now
a fan
being
service.
is he
But
now
Papa-
being unfair? The thing is, this is I told you I got over this. This was just based off my memories. I got mad for like an hour when I was thinking about it. It's
Yeah,
like, wait, like,
you
so
know,
is
it's
he
funny.
is he like unfaithfully adapting the character of Tatsumaki because he wants to draw her like one of his old fan service characters? And then I got mad for a minute.
That's, no, counterpoint. Suzuna is not a fan service character at all.
Yeah, I know that's true.
Momori is drawn more hornily than her. Suzuna just exists to give Senna a love interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Whereas, like in Mashima, I actually it was one of the only ones that distracted me in Eden Zero. When Sting went overdrive for the second time, not Sting, I fucked it up. When Weiss went overdrive for the second time, I thought, oh my god, it's Sting! It's one of the only ones. Because he normally doesn't look like Sting, but right there, I'm like, oh my god, it's Sting.
Yeah. All right. So, next is dude, Juvia. I think Juvia and Gray are problematic. They shouldn't be together. They're problematic. They're so problematic. Gray and Juvia.
I can get that, because it's kind of like how I hate Zenitsu and Nezuko's relationship.
No, it's
Except
not.
counterpoint, Zenitsu, no, I would say kind of, in like the very surface level way. Because Zenitsu doesn't do anything to earn being with Nezuko. He's annoying, whiny little shit from beginning to end, and then it just works. Juvia has to actually, like,
Pursue
grow
Gray.
and help Gray, and Gray also, like, tackles his feelings with Juvia, where Nezuko can't fucking speak and does nothing but protect her brother. Because, like, yeah, because early on, Gray, like, rejects her, like, and Urza always points out, you're kind of a little bitch at rejecting people. And Gray's like, fine, I'll say no like I mean it. And then he does. And then Juvia still bugs him, but Gray doesn't have as much of a problem with it anymore because he can confidently tell her to fuck off. It's only during Tartaros where Juvia outright does like a huge thing to help Gray and to actually get closer to him that they then go and train together for a year and don't fuck. And Juvia is so sad.
Okay, but I feel like, all right, it's fucking fiction, man. Get over yourself. Like, who cares? It's funny. It's literally for the sake of a gag, okay?
No, it is funny, but also no. Like I like it all, but also like clearly it's better than other ones.
Gray literally turned her into a weapon and used her. How could he? This isn't a healthy relationship.
First of all, that was Kino.
No, it was. It was the coolest thing ever.
No, I don't know anyone who says that because normally their point is poor innocent Gray getting harassed by Juvia, and he literally is. But one, it's a joke. They're like Eden Zero is a way more. Rebecca and Sister is 8 times more problematic than anything Juvia and Gray do. But the thing is, like, the point is, Gray eventually does grow a backbone to tell her to back off, and then it's from there that they start actually becoming start having an actual dynamic once both of them start acting more normal.
Yeah. All right. So next is Gajeel is a better rival than Gray.
That was one of our commenters, right?
Yeah.
I remember I read that and I had to do a double take because I thought they said Gray's a better rival than Gajeel because he is.
It's
Gajeel's cool because he's like a fake rival.
Yeah.
Like he wants to be Vegeta. I guess he is kind of like Vegeta in the sense that he's Vegeta if everyone treated him. He's Vegeta in OG Dragon Ball. I don't care about Super. He's Vegeta in OG Dragon Ball if everyone treated him correctly.
Yeah, always 5 steps behind Goku.
Everyone's like, okay, Mr. Tough Guy. Even then, Vegeta is stronger than Goku a lot. Gajeel's just stronger than Natsu. No, because literally the first time they fight, it's made blatantly clear that Natsu is leagues above Gajeel. Like, it's not fucking fair.
Yeah.
And then, that's quite literally, like, during Tenro, Kraftwerk made fun of this when he was dumb, but it was actually really good. Is Gajeel's fight against the 2 Iron Boys is like an exact mirror of Natsu's fight against him. Yeah. Showing he's finally reached the level that Natsu was at when they first fought, at Tenro.
Yeah. And, he gets to fight 2 mooks while Natsu fights the actual main boys.
He fights 2 mooks while Natsu fights a better version of himself and then literally Hades.
Yeah, so, like, I feel like the how I would describe Gray's a better rival is, like, he just interacts with Natsu more, so he gets to, like, actually be a foil to him more.
They have more of a dynamic. They've hated each other for years.
One of the best parts of the final arc is literally them fighting each other, and it's
so good!
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, where it's like, Natsu and Gajeel fight once, and it's, like, kind of funny, but after that, like, the point is, like, they beef, but Gajeel is kind of like if Loxus was weaker than Natsu and really unhappy about it.
I'm remembering the Sting and Rogue fight where it's like, oh, we're gonna 2-team him, then Natsu pushes him in the cart.
Natsu's actually like, fuck off, this is my fight. It's funny. No, I think Gray is Natsu's rival. Well, it's kind of like Urza is also technically Natsu's rival.
Yeah,
but
Natsu
Gray
wants
is
to surpass
the rival. Natsu has a bunch of rivals. Like, even Sting is Natsu's rival. But Gray is the rival. That's why I think that... I would say they're also one of the best rivalries in, like, huge battle shows. Like, obviously, they're no Naruto Sasuke. I'm not stupid. But, like, it's better than any rival Luffy has. I mean, that will change when Luffy and Blackbeard interact more than twice. But for now...
It's so easy to forget.
That they've interacted twice.
It's so easy to forget. Oh man.
Because Teach is Luffy's rival, which we will bring up all the time because it's true.
Yeah. All right. So next is bland world building. Fairy Tail is bland world building, which I don't.
I mean, if
really
you wanted a One Piece because you heard the comparisons and you went in expecting a One Piece, you're gonna be bummed out of your fucking mind.
Yeah. World building is like, it can be a cool thing. Fairy Tail doesn't like try to do it. It's not like Fairy Tail tries to have a really in-depth world and fails. It's just that it
fails. It just doesn't bother.
Yeah, it just doesn't
bother. We're in Fiore. We know there's this weird country called Bosco where there's human trafficking, And then later we learn there's a country called the North called Alvarez, and they're gonna come kick our ass.
Yeah, no, it's very much on a need to know basis, pretty much,
Yeah,
which is
which
perfectly
I'm
fine.
fine with.
Yeah,
Because it's never like we learn anything where it's like, well, that's fucking stupid. How did I not know that? Everything we learn makes sense. It's like, okay, we have the Magic Council, which interacts with the government, but they are not the same yet. Then time skip happens and things get weird.
yeah,
Or like we learn there's a large country to the north, which makes sense because actually one of the first things we learn about Fiore is that it's kind of small. So it's like, oh, there's a big country to the north that could kick our ass. Yeah, I believe that. Sure. Yeah, sure. Why? Why not? Who cares? And then it's like, yeah, we never learn anything. Where it's like, well, why didn't we know that sooner? 'Cause why? Who fucking cares? We're fucking killing the Balam Alliance. We don't have time for this shit.
yeah. You know, it just takes things one step at a time, and that's perfectly fine.
It's not like One Piece where because the main villains are the leaders of the world, learning about the world kind of sort of makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so
Naruto's also kind of on a need to know basis.
yeah, but I guess like Naruto does like down the road, like it does eventually like feel more like
That's because Naruto has more than 2 countries. It has 4.
yeah, yeah, exactly. There you go.
I guess Fairy Tail's up to 3 with Quest. Look out. And then it has alternate dimensions too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, like there's cool things about it, but like just like
Yeah, if you go in expecting some huge sprawling world, you're just not gonna get it. And if that's
yeah.
what you want, that's too bad.
Yeah, all right. So next is it should have ended after Fairy Tail Zero, which
This is curious because it did in a lot of
there
people's hearts.
there is two ways to interpret this. One that is stupid, and the other
Oh,
that
the
is
stupid one is you
less
actually think it
stupid.
should end with Igneel dying and Natsu leaving the guild, which is one of the dumbest things I've heard in my life.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's
you know
like
what that's kind of like? You know what that's kind of like?
it's like this should have ended after like Cell
Yeah,
or Z or whatever.
no, no. Saying it should end after Igneel died is equivalent to saying Naruto should have ended after the pain arc. The main
Oh
characters
yeah,
achieved
yeah,
their
yeah.
dream. Main character achieved their dream. There's nothing else to do.
Yeah, I know. Just all right. So like, do you remember just last arc, Natsu was talking with Zeref, and like Zeref clearly has some sort of plan for Natsu and like for
And
the
also,
world at
Logi
large.
is not dead.
Yeah. No, like all right. So like you could very like. All right, so because we have One Piece fans in the audience, you can very like easily compare like Tartaros to like say Marineford, where we set up two of the biggest antagonists and their relationship to the main character now. Because we have like Zeref, who like who was turns out is like Natsu's like older brother and who like made him as a demon, and then we set up Acnologia, who killed Igneel, so he killed Natsu's dad, so now Natsu really wants to get back at Acnologia now. So
Yeah,
now we set up the two major antagonists and why they're the coolest, strongest dudes and why Natsu cares so much about them. And then we leave for a time skip so Natsu can actually get to the point where he can actually fight them. So it's like,
yeah.
would you not want to see a payoff to that? Do you want to just stop there? Do you really? Do you really?
I think the more accurate one is the anime stopped with Zero, and then everyone kind of forgot about it, and then it came back.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's what
All right, so I think the less stupid interpretation, which is probably not what anyone was talking about, but like maybe they meant like it should you should read like Fairy Tail chapter 1 to chapter 500 whatever, and then you read Zero as like the final bit you read, which I also don't see that why
Zero.
I
Well, I
don't
mean,
see why.
Zero is kind of like Zero's kind of like here's one that I don't get. Soul Eater Not. It came out while the series was running. You're supposed to read it at the same time as the series. That's kind of hard to tell when it's over. So I kind of just look up when volumes came out and then figure it out.
The thing is, I think like Fairy Tail is a lot more like clear cut with where you're supposed to read Zero because like A, the
Yeah,
anime had Zero like after the time skip,
the
and
anime
B,
told you.
like just having it in the middle of the time skip just makes so much sense because like
Yeah, it
we cut
does.
away from the main cast before coming back and like
It's like the Kakashi flashback if it was its own volume.
yeah, and also like the fact that it's about like Mavis and Zeref primarily and how they're going to be a big thing in the next like big arc, like it makes sense to read it there. Like it makes so much sense to read it there.
Yeah.
All right, so next is I can't forgive how problematic Levy and Gajeel are. You can't
Oh, you
forgive
best guy
crucifixion.
ever. champion for social justice causes.
You should forgive people who crucify you? That's not a good lesson
no.
for a manga to have. But also, I love Frankie from One Piece. He's so great. Yes,
Frankie who just
yes,
mugged Usopp in the street.
yes, he and his boys mugged Usopp twice and beat the crap out of him twice, and also beat the shit out of him twice. But
In the street. Just beat him up in the street, just mugged him.
But I like One Piece, so like I can forgive Frankie. He's such a nice boy. I love Frankie so much. He's so goofy, so funny. Yeah, it's just like okay. Sometimes
Frankie and Gajeel is such a funny comparison because both of those were also supposed to imply that the Steel Man had an iron heart, only to learn he's a baby who likes playing guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, when you give a villain a redemption arc, they might do a couple bad things, including beating up a main character. Which, like, yeah okay. I think we can all...
Gajeel made it like his mission to make it up to Levy. He felt really fucking shitty.
Yeah, you know, like the thing is, like, A, he did like more to make up for it after the fact, and B, like in a direct comparison to Frankie because it's funny, Gajeel was tasked with like basically like starting war with Fairy Tail sooner or later, right?
What? I'm sorry, you cut out. What?
Because they eventually had to grab Lucy, right? Like Phantom Lord was tasked with like starting beef with Fairy Tail, right?
Yeah.
And whereas Frankie did it because I just want to mug that kid. Let's just mug that kid.
Yeah, Gajeel was just following orders. Part of it was Gajeel was kind of just normalized to guild violence. And the other one, he's younger too. Frankie was in his fucking 30s.
Yeah, if you want to be literal about this, then you can't like One Piece but also hate Fairy Tail for this reason.
One is teenagers having stupid gang wars. The other is a 30-something-year-old man beating up a 17-year-old in the street and taking his money.
All right, so
no, but I would say that the reason Gajeel's is fine is because literally, like, outside of like his whole thing of being a spy for Makarov, the biggest thing he does for the guild is try to make it up to Levy, Jet, and Droy. Jet and Droy are dicks, so he's like, okay, I'll make it up to Levy, and then helping Natsu.
Yeah. All right, so I got a couple more things, but I want to read the. Let's see if there's anything.
Any more comments we mixed?
Yeah. On the video. So
didn't someone did we talk about the video yet? Oh, we did. Oh, didn't someone tell us to watch the Pheonix Priestest review?
Yeah, we did.
Clip in for that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna throw the clip in here, but like let's just summarize. Yeah, I'll throw in the funny bit right here.
I love getting mad at what is essentially just mid. Like it's just mid.
Puff, no, Shiki, I disagree.
You disagree? You think it's like a little worse than mid?
Yes, I do think that like a bad or like mid battle shonen movie is like less than a good piece of media. Like I think Star Wars is mid. To me, Star Wars is what I define as mid.
Because your definition of mid is comedically malformed.
No, my definition of mid is just like it's good, but I don't care. That's literally my definition of mid.
Mid means it's mediocre. Piss.
Like it's not terrible. I see things to appreciate, but I don't care about it at all.
But
I don't know which one the funny bit's gonna be. I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. So, but let's just summarize our thoughts to make it clear. This is an old ass YouTube video, man. This is like back in the day. Years old. Like clearly, it was back in the days where like just being vitriolic and like mean was like sort of the popular thing. Because like there's a lot like I'm gonna be honest. This is a fucking shonen anime movie. It's not great. It's not good. You could pick it apart. You could pick it apart. You could pick it apart all day if you want about like how this like
I'd say it's like slightly better than the average Naruto movie because Naruto has trash movie.
Yeah, well, like there's clearly a lot of fake anger and fake critiques in the video just for the sake.
No,
like
it was from the
like most of like
stage.
Yeah, like half the critiques are literally just an excuse for him to say the word retarded or something,
or to just like say something stupid like Fairy Tail finds a girl collapsed on the street, and then they bring her in and feed her, and they say, and he's like, they brought her in from the street. She could be a serial killer. While there's like Natsu, Gray, Urza, and Mira after the time skip just standing there.
What kind of serial killer would have the balls to do anything in front of them?
A couple ones that also just like when you heard it and you thought for a second, you're like, that's a non-critique. He didn't say anything there.
Yeah.
which is fine. Like, because like that was the era. You got pissed off and grumpy and angry and shit. Also, he was one of the like I don't like anime and I think all shonen are a genre to me are bad. It
Yeah.
was one of those.
Honestly, it's not even really a video worth like picking apart and
No,
examining.
no, it's not.
Outside of maybe its place in like that old era, like
Yeah,
just
it's
seeing like,
that.
oh yeah, it's part of that.
Whereas you could say that other fairy tale review we watched, the newer one, the Galuna, the one where he's going arc by arc. When I watched the first one, time for that. He is like the new angry reviewer, where he still does the whole all shonen is bad except for Hunter x Hunter. I think it's boring than just like saying obvious contradictions, like saying Natsu beat Aragorn using the power of friendship, and then clarifies he won by getting pissed off at the idea of Gray being stronger than him, the most anti-friendship thing I've ever heard. He's mad at the idea of his friend coming to help him because he might be strong.
All right, now,
Was there anything else you're gonna do?
I have a couple things, but I'm still looking through the comments here.
Unfortunately, Fairy Tail kind of talks about it, so it's kind of.
Okay, hold on.
And no one talks about Eden Zero, so great for you guys' fan base. Sure, there's no discussion, but that also means there's no dumb shit.
Oh, dude, I love how literally the current day Fairy Tail and like Eden Zero fanbase is just the best one I've seen for any manga ever.
It's
like
just
you people are just happy and happy to read your manga. You're just content. It's like it's just a perfect little garden. And I've never seen like the worst of it. I've seen is just like, is this ship toxic or not? Which is just like that's the worst of it. That's so
cute
nice.
That's like the most negativity.
Dude, I like One Piece is terrible. Attack on Titan was fucking garbage. Naruto was not great. Bleach is like good now, but like back then it was like
I don't even like it. I don't even like current Bleach's stuff.
Yeah, it's a little just like I've never seen one better than Fairy Tail. So God bless your souls.
Even that, yeah. Let's see here. Well, Bleach is just because like all the Jujutsu fans who yap about Jujutsu also yap about Bleach because Bleach is a lot more interesting than Jujutsu. They say a lot of cool shit.
Yeah, and dude, I'm not the biggest fan of Chainsaw Man fans because they are the worst. They're very pretentious. I'll just say it, like they'll just say every time there's some gross out humor, they'll be like, "Oh, dude, our based 10,000 IQ mangaka is filtering more of the plebs out." Haha.
No, I mean, literally Denji, like two minors, one of which his hand is covered in the other's jizz, and they're like, he's filtering out the normies. It's like, no, Chainsaw Man's just fucking weird. So it does weird things.
Do you not remember when Denji got kissed by like a 20-something-year-old
adult woman
and she threw up in his mouth? Like like you see like an adult woman throw up in a minor's mouth after kissing him. Like that's the same level. That's the same level, honestly.
No, because I think that's the comparison I made when that chapter came out because we were talking about it, and I was like, I didn't like it that much. Because it's a lot like a lot of other things in Chainsaw Man that I didn't like that much. It's just like, it's what I expect from the series. And
the thing is, I like Chainsaw Man, and I like that these things are in Chainsaw Man, but also you people have to stop acting like it's the greatest thing ever, and also stop acting like literally Chainsaw Man spawned from the void, and it's the most unique thing you've ever read before. It's not, it's just clearly like the fuck, he lists his own like influences. Like you can go up and look at them.
He does.
Read Blame. Read Blame.
He doesn't have the typical big shonen manga influences, which is fun.
Yeah, like read Blame. Read Devilman.
The big three new ones right now, which I would say are Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu, and MHA. MHA, very Naruto, very Western superhero comics. Jujutsu, kind of Naruto, very Bleach, very Hunter x Hunter. So fucking Bleach. Holy shit. Ichibe's Bankai, I am pretty confident, is what spawned the entire concept of domain expansion. And then Chainsaw Man is like, it's not those ones. It's unique ones.
Yeah.
Or like not unique, but like not common for
I wouldn't even say like they're unpopular like influences. I'd say they're just older. They're just like older.
They're older and they're not what you would expect from a Shonen Jump battle shonen. It's what you'd expect from either like an alt jump manga, or not alt jump, alt shonen manga that's a bit edgier, or from like a seinen mangaka. Like you're like, oh, that's your influences, but you're making a shonen, cool. And by the way, I point this out a lot. Chainsaw Man has a bunch of gore and edge, not because it's adult, but because Jump is appealing to edgy teenagers.
I know, dude. It's the people who like conflate like violence and like, oh, dude, characters die and like there's mistakes, and so it's like, all right, dude. My mom is like reaching 60, and so like her tastes are objectively the most like refined and mature things, and she just likes musicals.
Yeah, no, because
she just like old people just like stuff like old people like just like cowboy movies or whatever. There's a bajillion different things that they could like, and most of them are not the gory, super edgy, violent stuff.
No, because if I was to give an example, I would say like MCU movies are for 12-year-olds. The Boys is for 15-year-olds, and I like MCU movies sometimes, and I like The Boys. But clearly that's like I don't care if The Boys is rated M. Or R, whichever one it is, R, M, I don't remember. The scene where a guy goes inside a guy's dick and then sneezes and gets huge and blows his dick up, that's for teenage boys to go, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Like, not to say that, like, if you're an adult, you can't enjoy it or you shouldn't enjoy it. Like,
I just
enjoy
said,
whatever the
I
hell
like
you
both
want.
those things, and I'm an adult.
One Piece is my favorite thing, and it's for literal babies. I'm not afraid to admit.
One Piece, one of its biggest reading audiences is, like, older women, which is awesome. Yeah. I love that.
Star Trek's main first real fan base was just housewives. Like, think about that for a sec.
Oh yeah, because it was gay.
Yeah. Also, it was a talkie show. It was a talkie show, so they just put it on while they were doing chores around the house. It was a talkie show
and it was American. Yeah. What we're here for. Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Wait, let me see if there's any other. Okay.
And I have one more from BG. Now, do you know why you like Fairy Tail Shiki?
Is it because the girls are hot? Because that's part of why I like Eden Zero.
But more than that, it's because when you were, when your ancestor was just a little monkey man on the plains of Africa or whatever the hell, on Pangea, you would have to be socially aware of other people's emotions in order to not get kicked out of your tribe and die. So you would have to, so you needed acute social and emotional awareness, meaning that you as a human being have still held that in the deep back of your monkey brain. You have emotions and social awareness in your monkey brain.
Dude, evolutionary psychology is definitely
and
not.
You only like Fairy Tail because it's emotionally manipulative and it's manipulating that old dark shadow in the back of your monkey brain, and it's just emotionally drudging you along. He literally said this for he has a 2-minute rant about this, about how you only like it because you were once.
Here's my thing about emotional manipulation.
It applies to everything.
It's unearned emotions, right? Like, you're trying to make me feel emotions that unearned. But here's the thing. If they're unearned, I won't feel them. I cry when Gray's dad dies because that emotion is earned. When Weiss tells the Ruby gang that they're her family, I say, you fucking liar. No, I don't. I hate the whole thing is emotionally manipulating you thing, because it's if it's unearned, I won't feel anything because you didn't convince me. If you convince me, then good job, you did your job.
Also, you can literally every piece of art is emotionally manipulative because that's the end goal is to show you things that will move you and resonate with you. No, putting it as emotional manipulation is just like a negative way to phrase it.
It's just whenever you don't like. It's literally just a worse way of saying I didn't feel the emotion I was supposed to, which I call just as.
That's not even the case he made. He just said dude, you only get invested.
He does feel the emotions, but because he hates Fairy Tail so much, he then gets mad that he felt that.
Yeah, he's just dude, you only care about Juvia because you and her
he says Juvia because he's so manga only. He doesn't know how to say character.
No, you only care about Juvia and Gray's relationship because you want to see a relationship happen in a manga, because you want to see emotional payoffs in a story, because you are a monkey on the plains of Africa.
He's Juvia, Puff.
I'll just drop the clip here, I guess.
Okay.
Who fucking hates this series still gets tricked into getting invested in a character like Juvia because Juvia is this waifu who pampers on Gray, and oh, I'm a lonely boy. Maybe if I'm a good boy too, someone like Juvia will come into my life. I'm invested in this. She's such a sweetheart. Do you see how you're being manipulated? Do you see the mind games they're fucking playing on you? Don't fall for it.
he's not an incel by any means, but my god, did he sound like one there. He's not by any means. He's not. But oh my god, does he sound like one there.
I gotta give it to him. He's a very good like punching bag for fairy tale discussion, just because like. Yeah, I know he is still linking people the Kraftsdorf's old review that he disavowed for how bad it was.
Literally added videos saying this is bad. I don't like it anymore. And Kraftsdorf has talked in podcasts about how he doesn't like people linking his fairy tale videos because he thinks they're bad, and it's pretty obvious who he's referring to when he says that.
Also, like in like the point of the video that I clipped from, he said like this was to celebrate like fairy tale ending, and he said like people in his comments were saying like, well, that's wrong because the anime will still go on. There's a spin-off 100 Years Quest. And he's like, okay, but like it's bleeding out, it will die in like a couple years as soon as the IP loses value. And now like here we are like what like 5-6 years late after the video
anime
came out.
got it now.
Yeah, the 100 Years Quest anime is starting up. The quest is still ongoing.
Yeah, not announced. It's airing. The opening came out and it was good.
Yeah, 150 chapters. The spin-off is still going, and clearly, like the way he phrased it, like is just like a more stupid author fanfiction. He phrased it like Mashima has moved on from fairy tale and no longer cares about it.
Yeah.
Like he said, Mashima doesn't.
Eden's,
he says Mashima doesn't care, so why should you? But it's like Mashima is still writing for Quest.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah,
what the hell are you talking
he's a
about?
storyboarder.
Yeah,
and then I know. And then with Eden Zero, it's anime. One, Eden Zero just was as popular as Fairy Tail. Two, its anime got into like got into a rights hellhole. So, if you really like the Eden Zero anime, I'm very sorry for you.
Yeah,
yeah, it's in a copyright hellhole, and I don't know when it's getting out. So, you might not be getting an anime for that anytime soon.
Yikes. All right.
I think that's it.
Yep. There might be more comments because like there's a lot.
No,
like...
I went through the fairy tale video. All we got was like Jalal, Gajeel, someone should have died, which you already talked about.
Oh, cool. Okay then. So yeah, that seems like a good length of the video. We're going to call it.
Yeah. I guess like foreshadowing. One, give us MHA comments. It's gonna end so soon.
All right. Here's the planned schedule for the channel for the time being. I didn't think I'd ever say that for evil fucking.
We do just because we have a lot to yell about.
All right, so we'll probably make another One Piece video next.
Because we need to yell at Morge so bad.
Oh no, he decided to be a silly little man 2 weeks in a row, and it was great.
I like how the first time it was like, oh, that's kind of a Bad Bonnie video. That's kind of a stupid point. And then he's like, just you wait. Get ready for me to tell you no one heard of a sandworm before Dune 2. Just you fucking wait. Also, I can't do math.
The video was so bad that it tempted me to like make a video on my main channel about author fanfiction and why you should not do it, and about like yeah, I'm tempted to now make a video about how author fanfiction is the dumbest thing ever, just because that Morge video was so bad. So anyway,
I think the
plan. All right.
Ours is usually more jokey.
Yeah. All right. So anyway,
I'm gonna say Oda has 2 wolves in him. I think it's pretty clear. I'm not being that serious.
Or like when I say there were 5 Odas or 6 Odas.
Whatever. Oh, that one's obviously because Oda confirmed that though, so that's not fanfiction. Real.
Yeah. So anyway, the schedule is next probably a One Piece video. Then after that, we might do a Bleach video next because I'm gonna reread that. It
depends on how long it's gonna take you to read Bleach.
Yeah, that depends on how long it'll take me to reread Bleach, and then so depending on whether MHA like it'll probably be Bleach, and then MHA will end. We'll reread
depending on if he takes any more breaks.
Yeah, so like basically next is One Piece, and then in the future there'll be Bleach and My Hero Academia with maybe some One Piece in between them, whatever. Maybe we'll do like a fun tier list one week or not, whatever.
Yeah. We've been cooking possibly the longest, dumbest, most pretentious tier list ever if we do Bleach.
It has to come after. Yeah, it has to come with the Bleach one though.
Oh, so that's gonna be one of the dumbest ones of all time.
So anyway, give us your Bleach, My Hero, One Piece takes, or if there's anything I actually have like a short list for like rom-coms part 2 if we ever want to. If you have any,
I should probably read more rom-coms. We're doing that.
Yeah,
I haven't read any recently. I've been on a battle kick.
Yeah. All right, so that'll be the end of this video. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, also watch the Mean Zero video on my main channel because sometimes the videos here do better than my main channel.
Which is absurd.
It is absurd.
We don't even make money on this channel, and we
don't.
get less views than the
Dude,
main.
We don't. We don't.
Which is really funny.
All right. Good night.
All right.